Today on Broadscast, I'm like, on Broadscast.
Tongue twister Friday. I don't know what's happening. We have Leah Ashley in the house.
Hey, guys.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broad topics, broad minds, broad hosts, but not just for broads.
I need all your handles.
This is Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall.
Welcome to the show. It's Friday.
It is Friday. We've made it.
I've needed this Friday.
I wanted a vacation this whole week. I posted on Facebook that I want to know why we don't get maternity leaves once our children have matured past 6 weeks old.
Yes.
I really deserve one. I want one every 5 years.
Let's talk about this. So speaking of maternity leave, Leah Ashley is here.
Hi,
in the
guys.
house.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. So you have a little baby.
I do.
And you didn't really have much of a maternity leave yourself.
No, I took 3 weeks
3 weeks? Why?
because I had a job.
Tell us what your job was, even though I already know. Tell us.
I was on the show FABLife.
Fabulous.
Yes, it was a really fun show, but I had 3 weeks. The funny thing is that the world, America, thinks that I had much longer than that because in TV time, it seemed like a lot longer. So it seemed like somewhat of a normal maternity leave, about 6 weeks or something like that. But really, I was back 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
From a C-section, too.
Oh.
Wow.
It
seemed like you were gone in real time, for 5 minutes.
Yeah, everyone joked about it, that I was I didn't take any time at all. But you know what? I was so glad to come back.
Yeah.
I was going crazy at home. I was literally finding myself at 4 p.m. in my PJs, in my pajamas, eating ice cream in the middle of the kitchen.
Yeah.
I was like, I've got to go do something.
Did you have mom guilt?
That doesn't change.
Or parent guilt, I should say. I know a lot. I kind of felt that way too. I mean, even though I loved being home, I was like, okay, now I need to do something else. This kid's not doing anything; he's just burping and farting.
Yes,
yeah.
That hasn't changed though, has it?
No.
he's
Now
13,
it's just stinkier. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know what I have to look forward to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally feel mom guilt all the time. I feel that way now still. Absolutely. I mean, I was really lucky. I got to take him to work with me.
Oh.
So that was helpful. But 100%, I was looking at him and I'm like, I can't just stare at you all day long.
Yeah.
I've got to do something.
When my son was napping, I was like, okay, please wake up because I need something to do. When he was napping, I was like, come on. I'm like, you're not supposed to wake a sleeping baby. I'm like, but come on, just wake up. I have to be active because I was so bored.
Oh, really? See, when he's napping, I'm like, how many things can I get done around the house? Go. And it's laundry, dishes, floors. I'm like a crazy person. I try and cram in as much stuff.
Don't you love when people say, sleep when the baby sleeps?
No.
Did that ever
No, I
happen
didn't
once?
do that.
No, not once. I don't think it ever happened once.
Really?
That was one huge piece of advice that I would constantly get. Sleep when the baby sleeps.
I saw something. I don't know if it was on Leah, on your Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. You're like a maven on social media. On the social.
Somewhere on the social.
You hashtagged I brushed my teeth today or something. It made me laugh. Yeah,
that's real.
That made me giggle.
That's real, and I have to check every day that I brush my teeth. Today I brushed my teeth for you guys.
Yeah.
Yay!
Thank you.
Just wanna
They
let
look
you know.
amazing.
Thank you.
We'll post a picture so you guys can see.
That's real, and that was really one of the reasons I wanted to get back to work too. Is I just needed a reason to get up and get dressed. And I know that sounds crazy because, my son obviously is a great reason, but it was so easy to be in your PJs and not brush your teeth and not shower for 3 days when you have an infant.
Yeah.
And I found myself people would want to visit, and because it seemed like a lot of work to get ready, I'm like, I always have such a busy day.
Oh, I'm a mess and I'm proud of it. So I'd be like, come on over. I stink, but that's fine. I mean, I just don't care. I had a girlfriend. I was like, what should I take to the hospital? I'm going to have the C-section. What do I need? She's like, well, I took my makeup bag. And I'm thinking, definitely, I'm going to take my makeup bag because when people come to visit me, I want to look a little bit put together.
Okay.
Yeah, right. When people came to visit me, I didn't even bother putting pants on. In fact, Lauren from FABLife came to visit me, and she got on video the first time I changed a diaper, and I have no pants on, and they played it on television on air, and I was like, thanks guys, I have those funny diaper
those mesh I had those. I kept those for a long time. I don't know why.
Those are Kim's sexy underwear.
But I just don't care.
Yeah.
This is me. I don't care.
I didn't care.
I think people respond to that too.
Really? I just don't care.
Well, I didn't realize because I had natural childbirth and I was left wide open, while everybody managed to take care of the baby. And there I was spread eagle on the table, and the door to my room was open. So people were walking by And I was like, anybody going to come back and clean me up? Like, I think there's a lot happening down there and they're taking care of the baby. But I literally was like on the table with my feet still in the stirrups. You know, the attendees are walking around. I'm like, I think I don't care about this. It was the weirdest.
Yeah, you just
don't care. Whatever. Yeah,
once you've had a kid, all of that modesty is just out the window.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit before baby Ford.
You don't want to start the day with talking about being spread eagle. We're not going to have that conversation. That's not this kind of Friday.
See that you could talk about.
Yeah.
I give Kim makes fun of me because she said a bad word one time. She spelled a bad word on the air, and I gave her a hard time. And so now she taunts me every day. So, but go back to, you were doing YouTube. You were very successful at it, like enjoy doing your DIY and your fun lifestyle stuff. And then you got a call. Like, how did that, I always wanted to ask you, like, how did that work?
It's actually a crazy story. I'm like, how much should I tell of the story?
All of it. Nobody's listening. Let's just pretend.
So I was doing working on a YouTube channel with my girlfriend, who was my business partner at the time. And we had this YouTube channel. We started YouTube in 2007.
Wow.
So it was a long time ago. Now it's like 10 years. And so it was like right when YouTube had come out. And we started a channel, and it was named A Fab Life, oddly enough. And we did fashion and beauty and home decor and DIY. It was really lifestyle stuff. And we really started growing by doing like home makeovers on other YouTube stars' bedrooms,
oh, right.
and living
That's
rooms,
brilliant.
and houses. It was really great.
Right.
We had so much fun. So I had known, kind of being in the industry and in LA for a long time, I had known the executives over at ABC for a while. Tommy, actually. And
hi, Tommy.
Shout out to Tommy. But I knew her when they were working over at Telepictures. And then they came to ABC and they called us in and they were like, hey, we just want to have a general meeting with you and your business partner. You want to come in? We're like, yeah, sure. So we came in. They're like, we're doing this cool project. We can't tell you anything about it.
Ooh.
But we think you guys would be great. And so we're like,
that
sure.
sounds,
Does it involve a poll?
Right.
I know. I'm like, I mean, I guess. Okay, well, sure. Let us know. So I don't know. A couple weeks later, my agent called and they were like, they really want to test you for the pilot, this pilot. And it was hard because they didn't want us together. They wanted to separate us, which,
it's like the Johnny Bravo thing. Are you too young for that? No?
What?
No, Johnny Bravo?
I know,
he fit the suit. Never mind. He left
do,
the Brady's behind.
What?
Go ahead.
It was a similar thing. It was a tough call. You know, I was like, I'll go to the casting. Sure, I'll never get it.
Right.
So I went to the chemistry test and had a great time and had so much fun. And it just kept getting called back in. And finally they were like, hey, we love you. You want to do this show? And I was like, are you sure? I don't have any TV experience. You guys know that, right? Because when I went in for the audition, it was like everyone I'd recognized from TV, like HGTV and Style and Food. And I'm like, I called my agent. I was like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
They know I've never been on TV, right? And she was
well,
like,
YouTube is TV.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, sort of.
Well, there are actually YouTubers who are getting more numbers watching that than these cable networks are getting.
It's 100%. It's really incredible. It's super incredible. It's. I feel super blessed, and I feel like that YouTube really kind of prepared me for this job. So, so they hired me, and every day I kept feeling like, they're gonna call my bluff. Any day my phone is gonna ring, and they're gonna be like, Leah, we're on to you. But my phone never rang, and we ended up doing the show, and it was a blast.
So a common thread that we talk about on the show is with a lot of women is how we tend to downplay ourselves. So you're sitting here like, I'm not necessarily worthy of this job because I never. First of all, you have to have an experience to get experience, but we notice, like, don't you think, Kim, when people come on and they're like, somebody asked me to do something. Like, we had somebody who we asked to be on this show, and she's like, are you sure you're not confusing me with somebody else? Like, why? Do you feel like as women we do that? We kind of like, or...
Absolutely. I think, and that goes into motherhood too. I feel like constantly second guessing yourself. Like, can I do this? Can I do this? And I just am a firm believer in just saying yes and just seeing what happens.
Right.
It's like this, I was put in this position to even have this opportunity for a reason. So just say yes and see what happens. Worst case scenario, nothing happens and I'm no better, worse off. I just never want to look back in life and think, what if? I feel like that is the worst.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The worst. So any kind of opportunity I get, I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Sounds fun.
So how did that go ahead.
How did it impact your relationship with your business partner?
That's what I was going to ask.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was tough. It was really tough. it was really tough, but there was, we had been together for so long. We had been working together for about 10 years that it felt like our relationship had turned from being best friends into being a work relationship because we spent so much time together. So the friendship had kind of changed and my life was changing. I had just gotten married and, I really wanted to spend time with my husband and not feel like I was in a second marriage.
Right.
So it was actually really good timing for a split for us. But of course change is hard and, it wasn't easy for sure.
But ultimately you have to be happy for that other person.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. And I support her and want her to be successful and she's super successful. She's gone on to, continue our YouTube channel, which was great. And vice versa. I know she's really happy for me. So it's all good in the hood.
Yeah. So now you're like thrust into TV. So just for full disclosure for our audience, I also worked on Fab Life. I did the promos for that. But I've worked in syndicated television, whether it's promos or digital, for 20 years, but but a very long time. So I have seen ins and outs and like how things happen and just kind of sit back in the control room with my little computer and I just with a smirk on my face because it's like a lot of it is like, I've seen this. So you being new to this, like what were you kind of, what was most surprising, do you think?
Honestly, every day was surprising. Every day was a new adventure for me. And I'm telling you, like every day I was like, they're going to fire me. But they never did, which was incredible. So, I mean, every single day was surprising. I think what was surprising was just how much goes into those shows. It's incredible.
Yeah.
The work is incredible. And how many people it really takes to get something like that off the ground and up on the air and also how selfless everybody was. I felt so supported in that show and like they made me look good. You know what I mean? And we made each other look good. But I was also really surprised of like the camaraderie. Like we were such a team, all of those people. And I mean like all of us, from the producers to the executives to the talent to the sound guy to the lighting guy. Like we all were such good friends. It felt like every day going to work was like going to summer camp.
Camp Fab Life.
Yeah, that's what I miss most, really, is just the friendships.
Yeah.
How much involvement did you have with the segments that you were involved in? Like, did you have to bring ideas to them or did they just assign you stuff?
Yeah, no, it was really fun because I got to do a lot of the creative. Now, I did all that on YouTube, so I kind of have a producer brain anyways because I was producing my own content for 7-8 years. And specifically that kind of content, like quick segments. So it was really my specialty because on YouTube, things 1 minute is your 1-2 minutes.
That's your window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to watch a 5-minute video on how to do something. So, so it was perfect.
We're so ADHD.
I know, it's true. And our attention spans are just
I want to disagree with you, but I can't. If a video is more than 45 seconds, I'm out.
Me too. I feel the same way. So I got to work really closely with the producers on creating the content. And I also wanted it to be my voice. Like I didn't want to go on television and tell you how to do something that I didn't really believe in or I didn't really want to do myself.
Right.
My whole thing was if it's not cheap, quick and easy, I'm not interested. We're all busy. We all have lots going on in our lives. Like I want to add to your life by doing this quick, easy project that's inexpensive that will make your life better. And if it doesn't do those things, let's not do it.
That's good.
We should apply that all the time.
Right? Like, to every topic.
Just to everything. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's
don't know.
Well, you're cheap and easy.
It's not really working for me though.
So it's historically I like to announce to everyone that Kim is single on every episode.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm putting it out into the universe because look at her, she's amazing.
You put out in the universe when cheap and easy.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I don't know if that's quite what you want to put out there.
Historically,
she has a sense of humor. That's what we're putting out there.
Yes, that's what we're putting
Anyway,
out.
so do you live like that? Like how you live on TV and on camera? Do you do a lot of DIY at home?
You know what? I used to, but now having the baby, I don't have a lot of time for doing DIY. So it's become even more important that it's quick.
Right.
So yeah, there are things that I still kind of do around the house, but I don't have as much time for it anymore as I used to, for sure.
Right.
I don't have the patience nor the creativity nor the crafty. I have nothing. I have no part of it. My quick is my trip to Target or the internet.
I want to be that DIY diva, but then I see the work.
I think it's really about deciding like what is worth it, right? Because there are some projects that once you buy all the supplies, once you sit down to actually do it, it costs more in time and money than if you went to Target.
So I have my son's bar mitzvahs coming up in October, and so I decided that I would make all of the centerpieces.
Adorable.
I don't know why though. I don't have this ability, and I'm one person in my house, so. I did all my research, and I have anxiety over what I have signed up to myself to do. Like it's, I
give it to our broad squad, and each of them can do one
because it has to happen the day before because I'm doing some with water beads, and so the waters have to be. I can't say the word moist. I'm like,
oh, is that a bad word too?
I know.
No,
I
she
just
doesn't
so
like
gross
it.
that word.
You like that, okay.
But I have the water, so it has to be done within a certain time period, and I'm thinking,
Right.
and then I have like remote control. Lights that I'm like, how am I going to get the remote?
This does not sound easy.
No.
Or
That's what I'm saying. But at the
or
time,
quick.
but
Yeah.
it was all over Pinterest, and so like everybody told
Okay,
me it
well,
was
let me
supposed
tell
to be
you
good.
something right now. Pinterest lies. Okay.
Yeah. So I have these boxes of vases, and I'm like, they're daunting, but I'm going to handle it because I have to. I bought it.
I'll help you.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm just saying, like the DIY. I can't even say DIY.
I always
I
say
can't even put
DIY.
this-
The hell would I want to do that?
Yeah.
I love that. That should be the name of a blog.
But I do feel like what you're saying though, that the time and energy and the anxiety
not
put
worth
in,
it.
sometimes it's not worth it.
No, you could just hire someone for the same price.
I know. I'm contemplating that at this point. I'm like, who could I get?
Well, and I think in motherhood too, like this is a good. So I always wanted to bake my kids cakes and do all these, like, you know, and you see that the first birthday's coming up for you, right? Next month?
No,
Right?
2 months. 2 months.
2 months.
Don't age him.
Sorry. But you know, I felt like for a long time that the more effort I made, the more creative I was, the better mom I was. So like if I see those moms who send in Valentines, and it's not just like the card that you buy and the name and the lollipop that sticks in, but they have like the bags, and they've got ribbons, and then this and that,
and
like,
everyone is personalized with something off the computer with a label.
Yeah, it's so. But I've came to the conclusion, probably halfway through the last 12 years, that it doesn't necessarily make one a better mom because they do that. I think a better mom is me not being stressed out.
I agree with you, and being present.
Right.
That's all that matters.
So
I'm starting to realize.
So
is
if
just being present.
Sam wouldn't even care if there were any table.
No, and listen,
centerpieces.
I want to do this thing for him, like those face kebab things, you know, like when you put their kid's face on a stick and then you put
cute.
Yeah, it's not. I didn't come up with that. It's called face kebab.
I was like,
anyway,
what?
But I have a friend that does printing, and he's like, I can make the face for you, and then you'll have to cut it out and apply it to the stick. And I looked at him, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to use you because that's a lot of work. I'm going to hire someone. I'm going to pay more money to have them all just appear at my door. Right. So I can recognize where my strengths are, but I don't know.
I think face kebabs would make a lovely centerpiece.
No, I just mean that, like, I get
a lot easier. It's just
right?
cutting and pasting.
I know.
You were talking about moist water beads before.
I know. But I just mean, like, I can appreciate, like, where my time is better spent. And, you know, I think it's hard, though, because you want to do it all. We were talking to someone the other day, or I was saying to someone the other day, we always say this on the show, but the woman that said that women can have it all, like, I want to punch her in the eyes, like, and someone said, I don't want to punch her in the vagina. Like, that's hilarious.
That's
like,
not true.
Yeah.
I've realized that that's not true.
Yeah.
And speaking to some of my girlfriends who are about, you know, they're really starting to look at their careers and their family, and they're starting to say, like, my career that has been my dream career is going to have to change if I decide to have a family.
Yeah.
And so it's true. Like, I don't think women can have it all.
Yeah, I mean,
they can. It just has to be at different times.
Yeah, I think somebody said that too. It's just not all at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's a good segue into. I mean, so here you are on TV, a national show, doing your thing. I mean, first of all, how has that changed your life?
Not really, except my grandmother thinks that I'm really way cooler than I was a year ago. I mean, that's pretty much it. My mom and my grandmother think I'm so cool, but other than that, it has changed my life none. I remember it was hilarious. Right when I actually got the show, I remember before we started taping, my mom was like, you know, this time next year, I won't even be able to walk down the street with you. And I was like, oh God, Mom, seriously, please give me a break. And I remember, like, right when we were wrapping the show, someone was like, have you ever been recognized? And I was like, nope, not once.
Well, you're also in LA, because a lot of people in LA may recognize and they don't necessarily say something.
Yeah,
as opposed to, like,
I also, for the majority of that show, was very pregnant. I mean, I look different. You know what I mean?
You do.
Like,
You do.
I'm not offended by not being recognized. I actually think it's hilarious, and I think it's great. It's kind of nice to be on national television and no one know who you are.
It's the best of both worlds,
Yeah,
really.
it really is.
It's why,
It's great.
It's why I do radio. No.
What's that?
I said it's why I do radio.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I think you're right. I mean, I met you were already pregnant because you started the show. I mean, I had seen the pilot, which you were adorable, jumping in dumpsters and things like that with Tyra Banks. But anyway, but I think that you have changed a lot. In that, you're not, and your hair's longer, and
and today I have it in a turban because
I know,
I could
so
not
cute.
deal with it today. I have a lot of cowlicks, and I'm in the middle of a grow out, and it's not cute. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw it up in a turban. I think everyone needs to rock the turban.
I can't rock it. I can't. I can barely rock my own hair, let alone putting a turban.
You got good hair.
I do have good hair, but it's a pain in the butt. I can't. Can I say ASS?
Yes,
I can.
But you don't even have to wash it. Like, it's just like she comes in and she looks like a
yeah. No, I don't have. Yeah.
She does.
But I just mean like when I see people that come in like with hats and turbans and the whole like bows, and I can't pull it off. Like I just feel like I would look like an idiot. You look so cute, and I'm like, I don't think I could do that.
I got a couple weird looks in the Starbucks line this morning. I'll tell you that.
Oh, really? Because you were here in the suburbs.
Yeah, they don't get it. If I'm down in LA, they're like, "Oh, she's so fashion."
We're 30 miles out, and you would think that we're in Omaha or somewhere
it's
like
crazy.
Yeah,
it's like totally different.
That's why when I would work on projects, and people would be like, "Well, what do real moms think, Jackie?" What do moms think outside of LA? I'm like, I'm 30 miles out, but yet you'd think, Anyway,
okay, so go, Jackie.
No,
go.
I was going to ask about this big announcement you made recently.
Yeah, I'm moving to Texas.
Yeah.
Not 30 miles out of LA. It's actually a long way away.
You're moving to a hipper part of the country.
But here you are. You have this show. Like your career is. I'm going back to that point of women having it all.
Yeah.
Is your first national show, which is literally your first. Like you have a huge career ahead of you, and so now you're taking it on the road back to Austin. So.
First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for thinking I have a huge career ahead of me. I needed that pep talk today because sometimes it feels, very bleak. And this industry is a tough industry. It's like 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down. You don't know when you're going to be up again. And everyone, it's so funny. My dad actually came to one of the last shows, and he was like, he lives in Texas. And he's like, why are you leaving all of this? Everyone just caters to you. They treat you like such a star. Why are you leaving? I don't understand. And, I said, I was watching the Joan Rivers documentary and they were talking to Melissa, her daughter. And she said, I was an only child growing up, but I always had a sibling, and that was my mother's career. And that just hit me, like it gives me chills. That just hit me so hard. After having a baby, I thought, I could stay in LA and I could, pound the pavement and hustle. And let me tell you, it is a hustle. To get where I have gotten in my career and be on this show was a hustle. I hustled for 10 years. And everyone wants to say, you're an overnight success. Well, it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. Right. And I just don't want to hustle for the next 10 years, and get on shows here and get on shows there. And, eventually I'll get on another show, and then I'm sure that'll have a good run, and then it'll get canceled, and then I'll be looking for another job, and then turn around and
You're living the life.
And turn around and look and think, oh my God, now I have a 10-year-old.
Right.
What happened?
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So how did you learn within yourself, like how to put down that other life to focus on this? And like, what are you going to do to satisfy that creative side of you? It's
a great question. And it was not easy to make that decision. My husband and I are both in the entertainment industry, and it wasn't easy. It definitely was like a crisis of conscience. Like, this has been my dream for so long. But then you have a baby and everything changes. We don't have any family in California whatsoever. All of our family is back east or in Texas. The majority is in Texas. So for us, it was just, we made a pros and cons list and just said, what's the lifestyle we want to have? And what is the childhood that we want to give our son? I want him to be able to like toilet paper the neighbor's house without getting arrested. You know what I mean? Things like that. Like we found this great neighborhood. The school bus drops him off right in front of the house. Like, it's just so adorable. Like, I want to get back into like horseback riding. And ultimately, I of course go back and forth and I think, oh my God, am I making the right decision?
Yeah.
But I think about what I want for him and the way I want him to grow up. And I want him to know his grandparents. And his grandparents are in Texas. And right now we see them 3 times a year. And that's just not enough to have a relationship with them.
Right. Did you have to convince your husband to do that, or was it?
It took about 2 hours.
Wow. Had he been wanting secretly to like go home and was supporting you, or I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I think we've both been in LA for 15 years.
Yeah.
And we've both kind of achieved some really great things in our career. And I kind of look at it this way, like, I had this dream of being on television, and man, I achieved it.
Yeah.
It doesn't
time.
really get any bigger than the show I was on, a 5-day-a-week syndicated talk show on ABC. It was great. So for me right now, it's time to work on a new dream. And I love, being in front of the camera. And what I love most about that is connecting with people. So I will continue to do YouTube once I get down there and get settled. Mm-hmm. And I have a couple of projects. I can't stay totally away from TV. So I have a couple of projects in the works. We'll see. But I got to get down there and get settled. And that's really our first priority is getting moved in and getting settled into kind of a newer paced life with different priorities. That's the easiest way to explain it is priorities they've shifted.
Right. I mean, TV has changed so much that you don't necessarily, unless you are an actor, like your husband is, but even there, like there are many acting jobs around the country, or you send in audition files. You know what I mean?
That's the great thing about
there.
digital too. Is like I can live anywhere as long as there's internet connection and do my job.
Right?
Do they have the internet in Texas?
They do. We do.
Awesome.
It's bigger there.
Yes, we do.
Everything's bigger.
Not so many people crowding the Wi-Fi there. So
yeah.
So what did you learn? You said so. How long were you married before you had your son? It's Finn, right?
Yeah. My husband is Ford is my son.
Oh, sorry. Your husband is Finn.
And Finn is my husband. Okay. But it's complicated because his actual name is Michael. His last name is Finn, but everyone calls him Finn. So it's confusing.
Okay.
Did they always call him Finn before?
Always.
Okay.
When we met, he introduced himself to me as Finn. And I was like, this guy. And then I Googled it because he emailed me and I saw his name was really Michael. And I'm like, he goes by his last name. I'm like, oh, God.
Well, you have an interesting way that you guys met.
Yes. I actually picked him up.
Nice.
Yes.
You rocked the turban then too, huh? Yeah.
No, it's actually it's a cool story. It's a long story, so I'll make it quick. But it's an inspiring story because I think the women should do this more often. I've never picked up a guy in my life, ever. And I was at the airport. We were coming home from Thanksgiving from Austin back to LA. We were both visiting our parents. And I saw him in the terminal, and I was like, that's a really good-looking guy. And we were on a Southwest flight, and he was boarding my flight. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sit next to him because in Southwest, you can sit anywhere. Well, I totally chickened out, and I sat like on the same row but on the other side of the plane. So we kind of made googly eyes the whole flight. And you could tell there was like definitely energy there. But I didn't say anything. And I'm like, I have got to say something to this guy. And I was texting my girlfriend. We landed. I'm like, there's this guy. He's so cute. She's like, you've got to say something. This could be the next love of your life. You don't know. You've got nothing to lose. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not going to pick up a guy at the airport. Like, what am I going to say? It's so awkward. Like, come here often? Are you like, what? It's so weird. So we walked down to baggage claim together, like right next to each other. And you could feel the energy. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when there's something about somebody.
Definitely.
So my bag was the first one off the carousel. And I texted my girlfriend. I'm like, I can't do it. I chickened out. My heart was racing. Like, I can't do it. So I walk out to the curb, and my ride pulled up, and I just had this feeling, like a voice. It said, just turn around. And I turned around, and he was coming out at the same time. And I was like, oh, F it. Sorry. No bad words. And I beelined up to him and I gave him my business card and I said, I don't know you, but there is something about you. And if you live in LA, we should get coffee sometime. And he was like, yeah, for sure. And that was it. He emailed me that night and entitled the email Curbside Pickup.
Oh, cute.
And that was when I realized his name was not Finn. It was actually Michael. And then, of course, I Googled him and found out he was an actor. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. I can't get involved with him. But he actually turned out to be a really great guy.
In spite of him being an actor.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But anyways,
is his version of the story the same?
Yeah, we actually tell it really cutely together.
Oh, cute. Okay.
We like interject it. It's really funny. He has a whole other side of the story, but my girlfriends were very inspired by that because they were like, why don't you just take a chance?
Right.
You have nothing to lose. Like I literally had nothing to lose. If I said hi to him and he had a girlfriend, like I'd never see him again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
I had a similar experience that did not end like that when I put myself out there on an airplane with someone called Patrick Dempsey. And Patrick Dempsey and I, I'll make this quick. We were sitting in an airport.
Don't make it quick.
No, it's not good.
And is he McSteamy or
McDreamy?
He was McDreamy.
Yeah.
So years ago, we were sitting in an airport. We were on a flight from New York back to LA, and it was whatever the terminal was, where there was a bar at the very end of the terminal. It was like the full length of the terminal, and there was just a bar there. So we were all sitting at the bar. There was a basketball or football or something was on, and I was the only woman at the bar. And I had a beer or whatever, and this person kept looking down at me, like leaning over the people. And then I was like leaning over, and I'm like, that dude's pretty hot. And then he kept leaning over, and I was like, oh, that guy's pretty hot. Now, I just took off my glasses. I cannot see without my glasses. So I'm sitting in the terminal, can't see anything. The terminal, the lady over the intercom says, we're ready for your flight. We all get up. We all start walking towards the flight. This man with this beautiful big Angora sweater, cable net sweater. I said Angora, that's a lie. We're both walking. I'm like, oh my God, he's coming on the same flight as me. I'm looking, still have no idea. We get on the plane. He's 2 rows ahead of me. I'm the loser in coach, and he's right in front of me, but they haven't closed the drape yet to shut you out. And he looked back. I looked back. I'm like, oh my God, that's Patrick Dempsey. He's totally giving me the googly eyes. And so I was like, oh my God, for the whole flight, I was freaking out. I had 1 business card in my bag. No, I had 2 business cards in my bag. And so I wrote something on the business card. No, I lied. I skipped a part. We got stuck in the hallway where the bathrooms are. He was stuck in the bathroom and he was like banging on the door, like to get out. And I pushed the door open and he came out and I'm like, hey there, like, hi, we're in the hallway where the bathrooms are. And he's like, how you doing? And so then he goes back and he sits down. I get my business card out and I'm trying to write something. I screwed it up. I didn't know how to spell my name, whatever the heck was going on. I ripped up the card. I had my last
Kim's
card.
Name.
Totally freaking out. So I take my card. I write something cute on it about the bathroom exchange. I hand it to the flight attendant. I'm like, can you please go give this to the gentleman in 4C? I'm like, we just had like this whole moment in the bathroom, and I just, and she goes up and she hands it to him. The drape closes, and I never saw him or spoke to him again. He totally ditched me.
What year is this? Is this like during Grey's Anatomy time?
So I tell my one friend about this. And so a couple months later, she sends me a picture and she's like, look, and you can see her taking the picture over her shoulder and it's him with his wife. And like he was, yeah.
He was checking you out with his wife next to him?
Yeah.
Oh,
No. They were together. Like he was married when this whole thing in the airport was happening. But she's like, he was married the whole time. I'm like, I don't know if I feel any better. He totally dumped me. Like we had a moment and then shit. Oh, I almost said bad word again. And the bathroom, like it was the whole thing. So my story about the airline did not work out.
But at
it's
the same
a great
time,
story.
I'm glad
I got
that
dumped
he
by
didn't,
Patrick
though.
Dempsey. Yeah.
I'm glad he did. Then I'd feel bad. I mean, it's funny because he's actually in the news because he filed for divorce.
Oh, my chances
in
have just arisen.
But decided that it was too much. Like he couldn't
cheaper
give up.
to keep her.
Right? He couldn't give up on it yet. So yeah, his makeup artist wife. So
right.
Yeah. Sorry, Kim.
It's all right.
You could have been.
I got dumped by Jeff Goldblum too.
You did?
Yeah, but that's another show. Yeah. My point is I tried to put myself out there and it did not end as well as it did.
But
you
have a great story.
Maybe aim lower than like an A-list star. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's a funny story. Anyway, so I wanted to know about your husband. So what did you learn about him after you had your son that you didn't know was part of him?
I know my husband really well, and we've gone through a lot together. Both of his parents passed away since we have been together. And so when that happens to somebody, you see everything. You really get to know someone. And so I don't think I've learned anything new about him, but he is so emotional and so sensitive. So the funny thing is like with me, I'm like, I thought I would be the overprotective one. And that he would be kind of laissez-faire about this whole thing. Oh my gosh, it is completely opposite. I'm like, he's fine. Let him chew on the grape. It won't get stuck in his throat. And my husband is like, every little noise. Is he okay? And he's like, and also he can't watch anything on the news about kids or anything. Sobbing. And so it's really cute. It's really sweet and very cute. They have a very, very special bond, my son and my husband. So it's been great watching him kind of go through this process, but he is like an open heart man.
Yeah.
Well,
somebody said that, being a parent is like taking your heart and wearing it outside your body.
That's exactly how to explain being a parent. It's crazy.
And it's funny as he gets older, things get more complicated as far as like I remember when my kids went to preschool and the first time one of them came home singing a song that I hadn't taught them, because you spend so much time with this baby, and you and your husband are like, and some family members, but are they're pretty much it, you know? And so when they start coming home with like knowledge that you didn't teach or songs, and I was like, oh, there are other people. And now it's like when they come home with other relationships and people saying things, just parenting's hard.
It is hard, man. It is hard. It's hard. It's so hard. And it's so funny. I think that my son likes my husband more than me. And then I feel like it goes my husband, the babysitter, the dog, and then me.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Why?
You know it's not true.
But I really feel that way, though.
Oh.
He says the dog's name and he says my husband's name.
Yeah.
But there's no mama yet.
Oh.
What's the dog's name?
Hank. So
Hank.
he says,
Yeah.
Hank.
Yeah. So somebody told me, and maybe they were, blowing smoke, but when my son was not saying mom, and dada is so easy for their mouths. Like it's literally science with speech on certain letters that they can say that they can't say other. The M sound is hard. It's hard for them.
I think that's what they tell us just to make us feel better.
I agree with you. So if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Broadscast with Jackie McDougall and
you, Kim Goldman.
Kim, yeah, and Leah Ashley, who's in our studio
Isn't she
today,
a breath
which is
of
so
fresh air.
Oh my God, you guys are so nice to me.
We don't ever get visitors, so I'm in my
2 weeks
shorts.
in a row we've been in studio.
Yeah. So when you became a mom, what was I think we asked this to someone a long time ago. What was like the best piece of advice someone gave you about like having a baby?
I think that the best piece of advice is to throw out all of the advice. And, what I've always said about having a baby or having children is that everyone has an opinion and no one has the answer. And, when you're in the middle of it, man, at 3 months, 2 months, not sleeping, and you're trying to find answers, it's like everyone's got an opinion. Well, you should try this method and you should try that method. But every child is different. Every parent is different. Every situation is different. And what works for you might not work for me, might work for you or not, So I think really just trying to be present and take a deep breath and try a couple things and make mistakes and let that be okay. And just kind of enjoy the process.
Did you buy into all of those, like when you go get registered for a baby shower, like all the things that everyone tells you, like the nipple rub and like the bottle cleaner, like you did all that stuff?
I definitely bought into that because so Ford was a surprise. Our baby was a surprise. I actually got pregnant with an IUD, and yeah, which is crazy.
That can happen, people.
That can happen, and the chances are like less than 0.1% or something. It's ridiculous. I call him our little miracle baby. But I was so not in the headspace of having a baby. Like I had no idea what to expect or what to do or anything like that. And I was in the middle of getting ready to start a giant new job.
Right. So
that was really where my focus was. So I kind of took everyone's advice. I'm like, what do I need? And I just started Googling like lists. So I put all this stuff on my baby registry that I had never even heard of. And I was like, I'll figure it out when I get it. And I literally haven't used half of it.
Right. I know. That's what I want to tell new moms, that like, you don't need half that stuff.
Right.
Like,
but I mean, it's the new mom thing. It's like they have to go through it themselves. But also Kim's originally from Chicago. I'm originally from Boston and you're from Texas. So do you ever find yourself kind of conflicted between the Texan and the girl from Los Angeles? Like, because I think that living in LA, everybody needs to have stuff, and more stuff.
Yeah, I think living in LA, like I've lived here for a long time, and you start to forget that like the rest of the world doesn't live like this and doesn't value that, like the rest of the world is normal. And then there's Los Angeles and New York, it's really weird. And the funny thing, just back to the baby stuff really quickly, I have found the baby industry is such a racket. Okay?
Oh yeah.
It's incredible. You're right. You don't need half the stuff they tell you need. And then like for toys and stuff, my kid, everyone's buying him toys and he plays with the toys for 3 minutes. Yeah. And then he wants a spoon, the Tupperware, the pots, the pans, the TV remote control, my cell phone. Like none of that stuff that costs $29.99.
Right.
It just sits in a corner and collects dust when I just give him some Tupperware.
Right.
He's happy.
My son had the most fun in a cardboard box.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, my kids still do.
Yeah,
9, 10, and 12.
Yeah.
If I get a box from a television or so, the big purchase,
Right.
they will play in that thing for weeks.
Good to know. Good to know. So I'm just going to invest in cardboard boxes.
Right. You should do that.
Forget the toys.
People will be like, "Are you still moving?" No,
Nope.
those are that's the playroom.
These are his toys. But I think, I mean, my heart is in Texas. Like that kind of really centered around family. And again, when my husband lost his parents, it kind of made that even more important for us to really it's about family, man.
Yeah. And I think him and I have gone through that question. Do we move? Do we not? At separate times in our lives. Like, I know, I don't want to speak for you.
I never thought about moving by my family.
I mean, out of LA.
Out of LA, yes, but not.
Well, how long have you guys been here?
I moved here from Chicago when I was 16.
Oh, wow.
But I don't love
With
my with my dad and his wife and kids and stuff. So we became Brady Bunch and then moved to LA. And I've never loved it here. I mean, I've never really felt like this was my home.
That's how I feel.
I feel like I've made a home, but it doesn't feel.
You don't have that heart connection. So that's exactly how I feel. And that's really what I'm excited to get back to is that heart connection. Every time we land in Texas to go visit family, my heart just feels full.
Yeah.
And it's the weirdest thing. There's a smell that Texas has that when I smell it, like as soon as I get out of the airport, I take a big whiff and I smell it and I'm like, I'm home.
Yeah.
And I'm just really looking forward to that.
That's
I've never
amazing.
had that here.
Right.
I've always kind of felt that too. Like I've made LA my home, but I want that heart connection.
I think that Los Angeles, and this is just my own experience, obviously, that there's so many people that are transplants that it's really hard to find roots. And my friends are people that are from other places, and I think we're all just kind of searching for that. I think I have one friend that was born and raised here. Other than that, like everybody's from somewhere else, and I think I really miss that about what I grew up in Chicago with all the neighbors knew you, the doors were always open. I know that it's a different time too, but I lived in a cul-de-sac and I live on one now. I don't know any of my neighbors. Like no one comes out of their house. Like, and we don't have to, my street's a whole weird thing, but like, I just don't feel like but I just don't feel like I've ever been able to replicate what I grew up with. And I just miss that. And I think I've created it from my son from my own experiences and with the people I choose to bring into his life. But I just feel like that's lacking here in Los Angeles, and that makes me sad. But
I remember
I think it's a tough city because it's like everyone is out here for a reason,
and so spread out too.
And they're out here for a reason that, like, it's never good enough.
No, it's like kind of narcissistic.
When we go back to Boston, right? We'll go out to a restaurant, and the wait person will come over, and and I'm like, oh, I used to work in this restaurant when I was 19 years old, and that I worked with her, and she's still there, and that's her life. That's cool. Like that's where she works, and it's a good job. It works with her family, whatever her reasons. Out here, it's like, what are you doing? What can you do for me? What's next? You know what I mean? It's never.
Everyone's asking me that. What's next? What's next? I mean, I'm getting that question all the time ever since the show stopped filming, and I'm like, I'm a mom. I just want to be a mom.
Yeah,
that's it right now.
Right.
And I kind of feel like people are a little disappointed by that answer.
You have failed me, Leah.
But that is, and truthfully,
that's interesting.
I have felt like some of my viewers and fans and people that follow me, I felt like I was disappointing them by announcing that I was moving to Texas, taking a little bit of time off to kind of get my family settled there. I felt like I was disappointing everybody because it's like never enough. Like you're saying, I'm like, I just really want to do the most important job in the world, and that is to be a mom. I've been going, only taking 3 weeks off of maternity leave.
Right.
I just need some time to be with my baby.
I think it's amazing, and I think that it will bring a whole new, huge amount of followers, because I think authenticity, people can read through the BS. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And, you're authentic. You are putting yourself out there in this way where you're saying, like, this is my life. These are my choices. And it also gives a little bit of insight to Hollywood is not everything. I don't think people understand that TV's not everything. And it's interesting that you're making that choice.
I left television because I couldn't deal with some of the ego and some of the urgency around like getting your Cobb salad, and like, I mean, seriously, getting the right parking spot and, the script color, whatever it was, like I couldn't operate. And I'm like, this is not rocket science, people. Like
we're not curing cancer.
Yeah. And I really, I couldn't I needed to separate myself. I can appreciate the creativity and like what you're saying about the camaraderie and the team and all that stuff. But there was something about it. I'm like, this just feels so blech.
I think for me, it's just the never knowing if you're going to have another job, like that unsettled feeling of like, so for FABLife was my dream job. I loved everyone I worked with. I loved all of our viewers and fans and connecting with them every day. It was my dream job. And then it was just gone. Right. And I just like, my heart got a little bit broken from showbiz. I feel like. Gosh, it can happen so easy where like, you're so happy and you're on top and then it's gone, and I just don't want to be on a roller coaster of emotions and have my child see me up and down and because I didn't get another show. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it seems so Joan Crawford.
Yeah, there's bigger things in life.
Especially because she has the turban on.
Yes, I
was like, wait, I have this vision of Mommy Dearest.
I know. I did this for you guys. I was going to actually put a giant brooch on it, and I was like, you know what? That's going a little too far.
I think you're leaving the hanger in the car.
We're going to the suburbs. I better take it down.
Take it down a notch.
Maybe they weren't actually checking out your turban, but they recognized you. And you
think
take
so.
it as, you never know. There's a big following out here. So, I think that it's really important that you, like I said, like that you put yourself out there as the real Leah. And so the stuff that you're doing on YouTube, and you'll get back to it, is not just DIY. It's like fashion and style and
it's really whatever I'm inspired to do. So I did something about like making your own baby food. Which was really fun.
You're one of those?
Yeah, I am. I'm one of those. I actually didn't think I would be one of those, but
it's because you couldn't make it to the store, so you just had to find what was in the house and grind it up.
The fascinating thing is when I started doing it, it's actually so much better. It saves time, it saves money, and it's better for the baby. So like really. I'm surprised more people don't do it. And it's so easy. Like it's so easy. You just throw it in the blender and you're done.
Right. It's interesting that there are so many people who are like doing these, workout programs, diet programs, and they're setting up their meals in these little tiny containers and this and that. And then when it comes to the baby, they're like, I'll just buy the food.
Oh, see, I feel I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, if only I could get on the Ford Francis diet, it would be amazing. He's eating like, pureed like squash and zucchini and all this stuff. And I'm like, whatever, in and out. Okay, let's go. It's easy.
That's how I am. But I always made sure my kid was fed healthy, and I was like Doritos for dinner.
Totally. Me too.
Yeah. So could you actually take some of those things that you're making for him and like make it in a different form, maybe not pureed for yourself?
Definitely. Actually, so he's now into the stage where he's eating more solids. So we're getting away from the pureed stuff. So he's really eating like what we're eating. But one of the things I made in the video that I did about making your own baby food, I did it was a meal with chicken, sweet potato, onion, and apple. And then you puree it up. And let me tell you, it was so delicious.
Really?
My husband is a giant. He's like such a foodie. He loved it. So I stopped pureeing it because now Ford is eating, more solids. And so Finn will go into the refrigerator and get his baby food and use it as a snack. I'm like, what are you doing?
It's hilarious.
But it's delicious.
It's easy that way.
It's easy and it's delicious.
So wait, what was it? Chicken?
So you literally just put chicken, onion, apple, and sweet potato in a pot, add some butter, let it cook. And then you throw it in a blender, and it tastes like heaven.
It's like, it sounds like sort of like
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
It tastes like Thanksgiving heaven, and it smells delicious too. It's actually,
wow.
I was
what I'm
shocked.
making tonight, right?
A Slurpee.
It was so good.
Chicken Slurpee.
And it's
sounds
easy
awesome.
to like pull it out.
It is, and you know what's so funny too is like just a few ingredients makes a ton of food, so you can freeze everything and then pull it out as you need it. So really, it is quite cost effective. But I mean, as far as videos, that's a perfect example of like something in my real life that I'm dealing with that I feel like, how can I help somebody else? Like as I'm going through it, like, okay, let's do this. Let's bring in an expert. I brought in someone who like knew how to make baby food, and she taught me a couple recipes, and I've gotten so much great feedback from it because there's women out there who are like, wow, I didn't realize how easy it was, or thank you for sharing or whatever. And one of my favorite thing about, I love the social. I'm not on Snapchat or Instagram stories, but I love Instagram, and I feel like I have a really good like mom community there where we really support each other, and I just think that's really cool to like share real things that are going on, like I can't get my kid to eat, and then here are some recipes, and people are so into that. Or I posted one thing about like I can't get Ford to nap longer than 30 minutes. And I had 150 comments of different things to do, tips and tricks and all this stuff. And the next day I tried some of those tips and tricks. He was napping for 2 hours.
Wow. No way.
Yes.
Wow. Thanks, Instagram.
Yeah, thanks Instagram and all the people that gave me tips. It was incredible. But it's pretty cool, like in this day and age, to be able to reach out to a community like that and get ideas. It's like the new village. You know, they say like it takes a village to raise a kid. It's like the new village.
Right. Well, I think that, you know, you as a brand, which can be annoying when people talk about themselves as a brand, but you know, you're morphing into other things, like you're branching out into other areas that I think that will only enrich your own life, but create a lot more opportunities for you too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like you have to be hired for this specific thing.
Right.
Like
exactly.
there's, you know, I love that you're sharing some of that
I don't know
stuff.
if I'll be a 75-year-old DIY expert.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But also, like, I want to know, I mean, I know that it can be difficult for you to brush your teeth sometimes, which I get that. But when you leave the house, and do you always have that much style? Because when I see your Instagram and your Facebook, and like, I don't even know how to put a top and a pair of pants together, as you can see. But you know, I mean, look at you.
You're so okay. First of all, you guys are so nice to me. I'm serious. I want to come back all the time because this is really good for my ego.
You can Skype in from Texas.
No, I am a hot mess 95% of the time. So I refuse to wear makeup. And I never wear makeup, but I never do my hair, which is why I have a turban on now. And it's usually like a trucker hat or something. And I'm in pajamas or sweatpants or gym clothes. I'm one of those people too that like will wear gym clothes in hopes that like I'll go to the gym, and if I didn't go to the gym, it just makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, that's
like,
that was me last night at my son's basketball practice. I literally walked in with my gym club. I'm like, oh, how was your workout? I'm
right.
like, awesome.
It was great.
You're like, I walked from the car.
Just in hopes that like it'll motivate me to actually get there. So no, I'm not. I'm really like honestly like I'm a hot mess most of the time. And actually coming to do something like this where I actually have to see other women.
Yeah.
I definitely put in a little bit more effort. So it's kind of fun to get to dress up a little bit more when I'm such a hot mess.
Did you feel like, I mean, you were styled every single day for the show. Did you have a lot of input into what you were?
I had almost no input.
That sounds nice.
Well, you would think that sounds nice, and that's not true. I had input, but there was a constant kind of back and forth about my look. Let's see, you know, if you want to say that. I remember at one point there was like 4 executives up in my face looking at lip color, and like, is that too bright? Is that too? I don't know. And like, it was like down that nitpicky like that. Like,
what does that feel like?
That's, you know, again, I'm pretty easygoing. So I'm like, whatever. I don't care. Like, I'll wear, like, you want me to wear black lipstick? Whatever. Let's just do it. Let's just get down there. Let's do the show, you know? But there were some things I wanted to wear. Like, I'm a little bit edgy. Like, I'm a cool mom. I feel like I'm a cool mom. Uh-huh. And sometimes they didn't want me to dress very cool.
Do you feel like
really?
Do you feel like they kind of wanted you to be like that perfect little girl next door?
Like perfect, like soccer mom, I think is kind of how they wanted me to be. They wanted me to like be kind of perfect soccer mommy, and I wanted to wear like, you know,
soccer moms can't be edgy,
right? Like a leather jacket. Like, also, I am a millennial mom, you know, which is I'm cool. I'm hip. You're cool. I love your shirt. Like a vintage shirt today. You look rad.
I bought this so my kids would think I was cooler.
Exactly.
At Target.
At Target for $12.99.
It's adorable. You're pulling it off.
Thank you.
But I would not be allowed to wear something like that on FABLife.
No.
So that was a little bit. That was a little bit of a bummer because I didn't feel like I got to really express myself in my clothing so much.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you work for a big company. There's a lot of people that have a lot of opinions and they're very important and their opinions matter. At the end of the day, I love my job. Like I said, I'd go out in a paper sack. I don't care. I have fun. You know, I don't take myself that seriously. So
do you feel like the clothing choice and how they dressed you kind of affected how you presented yourself at all? Or did you feel like you had to overcompensate so people didn't think you were this like?
No, I don't. Like I said, like I don't really let it get to me that much. You know, it's like it's clothes.
I know, but I feel like I act different depending on what I'm wearing sometimes. Yeah. I mean, if I'm wearing something that's a little sexier, I'm not as classy. I mean, I'm classy, but like if I'm wearing, you know, like a suit.
I'm not as classy.
No, I just mean like, no, like I bought myself something the other day, but it was like a nice pair of pinstriped pants, like this cool top that I wore. And I felt like I was carrying myself
right
differently than how I'm dressed today. Like I do feel like my clothes impact how my
yeah, but
not
when
my
you're
core,
having
but
hair
like
and makeup done anyway, and
Yeah.
and even though the clothes might not be you, they're still nice.
Of course,
clothes.
they were still really nice clothes, and I mean, maybe it was like I wouldn't necessarily choose this top with these pants, but hey, they're a cute top and a cute pants,
and it was free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and at the end of the day, like I love my job. Like
Yeah.
I love going out there and making people laugh and smile and laughing and smiling myself. It was so funny. My neighbor came up to me yesterday. And she was like, I just wanted to tell you that you must come home and ice your cheeks when you come home from work because you're smiling constantly. I'm like, I guess so. I never really thought about it like that. But the truth of the matter is, no, the clothes didn't really affect me. It's like, I'm not that good of an actress. You know?
But
Yeah.
I mean, I think that your personal style, no offense to whoever was your stylist in the show, but I think your personal style is so much more appealing, you know, than what they dressed you in.
They
so
kind of,
are you moving in that direction as far as like videos too? Because I would love to know how to put a
Really?
look together.
Okay.
Yes. Like
I'm taking
yeah.
ideas, guys.
I mean, you have a baby,
Yes.
you know, and you're in sweats and all that. And then you have to get out and you have to do a meeting. You have to do whatever it is, even a Skype call at times.
Yes.
You know, that how do you pull something together with what you already have that maybe we're not thinking of?
Yeah, okay. I
You
love
know?
that. I think I would love to do a video like that. I would do that. I'm also like pretty simple. Like I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl. And then I'll do like one statement. Like today I have jeans and a button down, but I have my statement. My leopard turban is my statement.
Yeah.
You know?
So you wore a lot of statement necklaces on the show. Is that really your thing?
I do love statement necklaces. I love like to be a little bit gaudy.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Like
Nice.
some ridiculous high heels. But if you're going to wear ridiculous high heels, then everything else should be pretty simple.
I like ridiculous high heels, but then I feel like I walk like with my head. I walk weird.
Yeah.
You walk forward.
I do. I walk forward.
Yeah. There was a woman,
I walk
I
awkward.
won't mention her, but she is very high up in entertainment and she wears ridiculously high heels and she looks like she's walking downstairs all the time.
Oh, no.
I'm having a flash. I had a whole dream. I have weird dreams. I had a whole dream about shoes last night. About
Oh,
high
lucky.
heels.
Lucky you.
No, this is so weird. It's all happening again in my head.
Really, I had some guy who carjacked us and tried to kidnap my kids, but that's yours is better.
Oh.
That's some weird sex dream. But
Nice.
Really?
yeah. It was
About
like,
McDreamy?
No.
All the fun
no,
stuff's
no.
coming at the end of the show.
Yeah. I know.
So
Yeah.
like things like Fashion Week, is that something
Don't care.
Yeah.
In fact, this is really bratty, but I feel like I'm kind of annoyed by Fashion Week because it takes over my Instagram feed.
Right.
And I just
Oh,
don't
yeah.
care. I'm like, I don't care. And I'm sorry. Let's just be honest here. Like, do you notice that every year they're like, trends for fall, leopard, velvet, military, jewel tones. I'm like, that's every single fall.
Yeah.
Every year, those are the same trends. And
Exactly.
maybe
There's
a
nothing
little-
new.
There's maybe a little spin on it, but I just feel like people take fashion way too seriously, and I just don't care that much. Like, back to like what you said, it's like, if it makes you feel good, wear it. I have the dumbest turban on my head right now. Okay, like, let's just be honest. Like,
I posted it. Don't worry. Yeah.
it's so dumb, but like, it makes me feel fabulous. When I walked out the door this morning, my husband was like, "What is on your head?" And
Okay, I have a
I
question.
get
Did you
it.
wrap it on, or is it like a hat?
Oh no, this is a sarong.
Oh, so you
Or-
wrapped it,
Well, it could be a scarf. It's a scarf.
and you
Yeah,
did
I
that.
just wrapped it.
That's impressive.
It's actually really easy.
I was thinking it was like a little hat that
No.
you put on that makes it look like it's a turban,
No,
but
no,
you,
no.
you
But that
really
would be
did.
much
wrapped
easier
it.
for the mom on the go.
It would
Right?
be. Yeah,
But I
see-
think that's another thing. Like
I would
hair,
look
without-
like a head case victim, like an accident victim if I tried to wrap that.
You're
I'd
so
like
funny.
half my face would be covered, and I'd like
people would be like coming up to her offering
Do you need help?
condolences.
Yeah. Do you need a ride to the hospital?
but
Yeah, it's
but
one of
that's
those
another
things you
video.
just have to commit to it. Like, you know, like if it makes you feel good, just commit to it. Who cares? It's like, you know, you want to wear that weirdo outfit, go for it. If it makes you feel good,
Yeah.
that's what life is short.
Where do you shop? Do you shop at all different types of places? Or?
Okay, so I shop at all different kinds of places. One of my favorites is J. Crew, but I have a bone to pick with J. Crew, and that is that I have a booty. Like I have a pretty good sized booty, and none of their pants or bottoms fit. I feel
Right.
like their fit models are like 65-year-old.
Wait, there was an article. I didn't read the whole thing, just the
Nothing
headline. It was Tim Gunn or Tom, whatever his name
Yeah.
is, the fashion guy. He said that like the fashion industry refuses to make clothes for like the
real
everyday,
women.
real women.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So I love
Yeah.
J. Crew, but I really can only buy their tops because their
Yeah, me
bottoms
too.
don't fit. And I only shop their sale because I think they're ridiculously priced. And if you love something at J. Crew, next month it'll be on sale. So
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I always shop their sale. So I get a lot of my good jewelry from there, but when it's on sale. And other than that, like I shop everywhere. I love the thrift store, and I love.
Do you find a lot of things? Because I try to go into stores like that.
You have to have this right kind of personality for a thrift store. People either love it or hate it, and it really only takes one good find, and then you're kind of hooked.
But how many times when you go into a thrift store, out of 10, how many times do you feel like you have a great find?
1 or 2.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. You have to have the right personality.
Doesn't it have a smell like mothballs?
Yeah, but there is an adrenaline that happens inside of my body when I find something good.
Yeah, I feel that way about TJ Maxx, but I can't do I love TJ Maxx, Marshall.
That's
but
what I mean. People have different levels about what they're willing to do.
I can't do a thrift
See,
store.
I love a good hunt.
Yeah, because you can really get an amazing
but it's somebody
deal.
else's clothes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
can't
like
do
to do
that.
that
I
with
don't
home
know.
stuff.
Really?
I'm not a hand-me-down kind of gal. Like when people give me, I had a woman give me, she was giving clothes to my son because our kids were a year or 2 apart, and she was giving him stuff to wear. And then she gave a bag to me without even asking me. She gave me, do you remember this, Jackie? We can't say who it is. She gave me like a bag of her clothes. I'm like, I am so uncomfortable with you giving me like all your clothes. I just was not, I'm not that girl. Like,
That's a little weird.
Out.
That's
Okay,
really
so
weird.
ladies, I
sorry.
hate to tell you we have 20 seconds left. We
Oh.
have to
No.
go. Thank you so much, Leah. So
Thank you,
livingwithleah.com.
Yep.
All of your social is Living with Leah.
At Living with Leah. Come hang out
Follow
with me.
her. We'll also post that on broadscast.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Have a great day.
that was fast.
I know.
You're listening to Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall. Two broads with faces made for radio.